let you pick my teammate. How's that?
I don't believe this, man.
$500, baby. And you can pick anybody out here. Anybody. Anybody.
I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
But Raymond, man, look at the chump, man. Give him the chump.
Okay, cool. Intro's over. Hello, everybody.
What a long intro.
Yeah.
All right. Long intro.
If you didn't know what you were listening to, you are listening to The Real Boys, the only podcast on the internet where a bunch of guys talk about movies. At least I'm pretty sure we're the only one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're the only ones with a bunch of guys that
That's
talk
true.
about movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing quite like three white men to talk about a bunch of movies for you.
Yeah.
There are better podcasts where it's more diverse groups of people that discuss movies. But that's not what we do here.
No.
We get just cisgendered white men and we go through the gamut of other pretty lackluster men's favorite movies. So that's what we're into today. So we're gonna go over Mr. Dan Levely's number one favorite movie, aka DL Smokes, aka host with the most boring podcast. Oops, caught me smoking and something else. Who knows? You could probably bet that no one's listening. But anyway, we're going to be watching White Man Can't Jump, which if you don't know about it, it is a really well done 1992 American sports comedy film written and directed by Ron Shelton. It stars Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, and streetball hustlers. Now, I'm assuming everyone has already seen this movie, right, Dylan?
I watched it today. For the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a sports movie.
I never saw it before either, and I do have to warn you guys, before I started watching this movie, I took like a whole bunch of shrooms.
Yeah.
So my memory of this movie might be a little bit fuzzy. So if I get anything wrong, don't worry about it. Just like correct me and
Sure.
But yeah, it was actually, I can't believe I never watched this movie before because I had just a ton of fun with this movie.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I thought that this was a basketball movie, but like it doesn't have much to do with basketball for very long, but we'll get into it as we go through the movie.
It's about family. I think it's really a meditation on family for sure.
Well, it's about relationships and about men that kind of can't grow up. I think that's really what I took out of it the last time I watched it. And I watched it a while ago, and I was, this movie's fun. I mean, I'm not a sports movie person, but I'll say what sports movies should do. This does for basketball. It is fun. It feels genuine. The cast is really, really well done. At no time did I feel like, oh, these guys can't play basketball. They actually seem like they're very good at it. And although the story, the stakes are pretty small for the most part.
Wow, you thought the stakes were small? This was like, when I was watching this was like world-ending stakes, again, fuzzy memory of what happened in this movie.
Yeah.
But like I said, the basketball, it was like, I remember seeing the trailer for this movie and going, man, why did they put Wesley Snipes in these costumes that make him look so stupid?
Well, this was 1992. I mean, that's how some people looked.
I don't think that's how anybody dressed. I was alive in 1992. I was 13 years old.
Well, if you watch In Living Color, which was at the height of 1992, every fly girl looks like Wesley Snipes, and they are by definition fly.
It's
So
really
you really
true.
can't
Yeah.
you really can't fight with that. So you remember watching the trailer for this movie?
No, I wasn't. I don't think I was alive yet.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
it was-
Dylan would. There's no way that a 14-year-old farts McDuty buddy is remembering pre-Money Train Woody Harrelson.
No. I mean, it was on TV sort of a lot growing up. So I do remember seeing the commercials for it, and maybe not necessarily like the theatrical trailer, but
okay.
There was commercials and stuff for it. And I said, why would they put Wesley Snipes in like 3 oversized tank tops plus 2 spandex tank tops plus a painter's cap? It just
So cool.
didn't make any sense.
Why not,
Luckily, once Chris Christopherson shows up, he gets rid of all that stuff and gets that like really tight fade haircut. And he puts on the long black trench coat, and it was like perfection. I was like, this is the Wesley Snipes I remember.
Yeah. You just you hop 7 years and a little bit of stuff. So you think that this is the same character as Blade the Vampire Hunter?
Well, I mean, again, fuzzy memories of this.
I get
movie.
it. You're eating some chanterelles or a nice Alfredo sauce, whatever it was that you were dipping your
Black
biscuits
truffle.
into.
Yeah.
So but anyway, all right. So this movie, now Dylan, you I know that you are a backyard basketball player.
Yes.
There are a lot of times that I'm trying to get you to come over to do some writing, and you're like, hang on a sec. I gotta hoop up these kids around the block.
You often text me when I'm mid-air, and it's difficult to respond.
Yeah. And I'm like, chill out with that air, bud. Come over.
No,
No.
I'm not allowed. It's not in the rule book.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. But anyway, did you know that Woody Harrelson was this good of a basketball player?
I did not. And one thing I appreciate about this movie, unlike Space Jam: A New Legacy, Michael, is that a lot of the basketball in this movie was shot in like continuous takes, and it looked like they were actually making the shots they took, and there weren't a whole lot of editing tricks, it looked like. So that's one thing that I really kind of appreciated about this movie. I didn't know that about Harrelson. Apparently he played in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And honestly, without Algae Rhythm hanging around, it's pretty easy for anyone to play basketball, really. But now Billy Hoyle is a former college basketball player who makes his living by hustling streetballers who assume he can't play well because he's white. Sidney Dean is a talented but cocky player who is beaten twice by Billy, once in a half-court team game and later in a one-on-one shootout for money. Now, they quickly establish these characters as one is white, and wears gray clothes, and one is not white and is very good at basketball, probably. And really, that's where the dichotomy starts. That's where like that the rift gets down. I'll say that the basketball and Woody and Wesley are great, but I liked their relationships with their female counterparts a lot better. I thought that, like, yeah, the basketball stuff was cool. It does get a little boring because it's just kind of smack talking, and Woody Harrelson, I guess, can't jump. Cool. But, knowing that, like, Wesley's, because he can't hold a job down, his, wife or girlfriend, I think it's a girlfriend, partner, she, she's having a hard time like making money, and that's why he's like kind of hustling out there. And Wesley and Woody Harrelson, because he is kind of just a grown-up man-child and has a gambling addiction, really doesn't want to have a job because he thinks that he's white and he deserves to have more money, especially from, I guess, African-American baseball or basketball players. So there's not a whole lot really to talk about. It's these guys just trying to make money because they don't want to do a responsible thing. But
it's 1992. They probably made this when Bush was in the White House. Like, I totally get it.
Yeah, they needed that money, and then especially after Marissa Tomei's like face melts off of her skull, and then like it rebuilds and it's Juliette Lewis, and then they go on like a murder spree, and then Wesley Snipes has to, when Chris Christopherson's like, Wesley Snipes, you need to stop this killing spree, and then he kills Juliette Lewis, and then the Boondock Saints start chasing after Woody Harrelson, and then Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson have to team up together to fight the Boondock Saints. I just like, you're right. The relationships with the women that they have in their lives is definitely the best part of this, because the action is like, considering Wesley Snipes like action movie background and his karate background and whatever else martial arts he does, like, it was pretty sad. They were just like pushing people off cliffs, and it was just really weird action. But but but
I agree. I mean, the things that Woody Harrelson is very good at is evading things like punches and taxes. So I'm glad you're blurring Boondock Saints with your mushroom makeup. Now, I don't even know what to do with this. I don't think Dylan watched this movie, and I think that I think that Michael Colby is actively trying to ruin this show.
I definitely watched this movie.
How
I took this seriously?
Dare you? I also took this very seriously. There is nothing. You can't say that I don't take talking about movies very seriously. Yes, I can. This show is not allowed to have any fun in it. We need to be talking seriously about these serious movies. And if you're going to disparage my name and say that I am not taking this seriously, I'm going to have to reconsider being on this show at all.
You're starting to sound like me.
This show? You're gonna dip on this show? This show that was hand-picked like a fine cheese plate full of a whiteness and opinions. You're gonna quit that. What are you gonna do? You're gonna start another movie podcast? Because that's kind of
that
ridiculous.
That would be really shitty if I would just like start a new movie podcast out of nowhere. So I'm definitely not gonna do that. But look.
Anyway, check out OMG Movie Podcast where they talk about Eternals this week. Go ahead. That's this week's sponsor. This week's sponsor is OMG Podcast, OMG Movie Podcast, where you can find all of your OMG movies at one click of a finger.
Yeah,
OMG Movie Podcast, where OMGs happen.
Look, I would really rather not have to start another podcast. It seems like a huge undertaking to start a whole new podcast from scratch. I've never done anything like that before. I've never done any sort of side shows where I just have a whim about a show that I would like to do and then just do it. That would be a ridiculous thing to do and to say. So I guess I'll stay on this show, finish out these number ones, and then whatever we have planned for the far, far future of this show, because we're gonna definitely keep this going forever.
Yeah, not the past though. Definitely
we've
not
got enough
past.
content. We've got enough content for another 100 years of this show.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this show goes, I have been on 95% of these episodes. So honestly, if anybody's taking this project seriously, it's me. And if I have to be the only real boy going forward, I mean, I'll take some shrooms and watch these movies. Just give me your shittiest movies. I mean, these guys have been doing it for a year now, giving me their shittiest movies, and then I have to watch them and talk about them. It's awesome.
It's pretty great. I agree. But they did give us this movie, which I will say is still pretty good. And if we're going to pop into what's going on in this movie, now, what did you think of Rosie Perez, Mr. Farts, McDuty Butt?
Rosie Perez was in this movie?
Oh my God. I hate this show. Honestly,
she plays Jeopardy. She goes on Jeopardy.
It's literally Woody Harrelson's lady.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, with all the Q words.
Words that begin with, or food that begins with the letter Q. They never do quinoa, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Quinoa wasn't a thing. It was invented in 1999.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I
When
am.
Todd Phillips began.
I'm a little bit confused because I don't remember anything about this movie because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I assumed you didn't. I'm still assuming Dylan hasn't seen it.
No, I've watched it. I watched all 100. I watched all hour and 50 minutes.
What did you watch it on?
I watched it on a totally illegal streaming website, which I typed into Google because I've historically used it for a lot of the movies on this show.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you say this movie is an hour and 50 minutes long?
Yeah, it's around there, and a lot of it is Woody Harrelson getting tricked into losing all of his money.
Yeah, I fell asleep after like 10 minutes.
And then what happens on the mushrooms.
Yeah, and then I just didn't bother to watch it again.
Right
so
yeah, so like I said earlier, Billy and his Puerto Rican living girlfriend Gloria Clemente are on the run from mobsters because of a gambling debt. And a voracious reader making notes of obscure facts. Gloria's goal in life is to become a contestant on a television game show called Jeopardy. And she wants to make a mint. She wants to make a fortune. And Sidney wants to buy a house for his family outside of the rough Baldwin Village neighborhood. And he proposes a business partnership with Billy. So once like Wesley Snipes gets hustled the first time pretty badly, he kind of hooks up with Woody Harrelson. He's like, hey, let's do this together. Let's be a team and heist other basketball players that are probably better. But
so Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes hook up in this movie. Is that? I mean, I thought that was just part of my mushroom dream. But is that actually in the movie where they, actually hook up and have sex, or was that just
front and center?
It's definitely implied. I mean, this was the early 90s, and not only were you was it illegal to be gay, it was also illegal to cross race. So it was definitely implied. That's what the basketball is the symbol of in this movie, is the blossoming relationship of two possible homosexual sports players. And you can bet that. Now, Gloria, who wants Billy to find a stable job, it's incensed, at Billy for blowing his money again. She's pretty upset because Billy just keeps blowing his money, similar to, Mr. McDuty Pants and his friend Money. But he realized that he gets hustled after Billy tells her how it happened. They go to Sidney's apartment and they appeal to his wife, Rhonda, for fairness. And the woman agrees to share the money because Harrelson gets duped this time because he can't jump. He can't dunk a basketball, and he has a problem with gambling. So Wesley Snipes keeps asking him, I bet you can't jump. And Woody Harrelson's like, I bet you I can. And Wesley Snipes is like, nah. But guess what? He can't.
Nope.
He can't. So now they have no money once again. Right. A really apt title. Now, Billy insists that he can indeed dunk. And after Sidney clearly disagrees, Billy offers to bet his share of the $5,000 that he has just gotten back because he thinks he can dunk. And Sidney gives him 3 chances. And he tells him, quote, white man can't jump. But Billy fails and he squanders his share. And when he tells Gloria, she leaves him, as she should have, because he's kind of a piece of shit. And he goes and he starts his own podcast where they talk about other movies. Now, desperate to get her back, Billy goes to Sidney for help, and Sidney reveals that he's got a friend who works as a security guard at the TV studio that produces Jeopardy. And his friend Robert agrees to use his connections to get her on a show if Billy can sink a hook shot from beyond the half-court line. Now, Michael, do you think that he did it? Do you think that Woody Harrelson sunk the half-court shot to get Gloria onto Jeopardy?
Well,
you're right. He does. And he gets her on there. Now, Billy sings Gloria a song as he wait, I'm sorry. Now, once she's on there, Gloria initially stumbles over some sports questions, such as naming Babe Ruth as the all-time NBA rebound leader because she's a female. Females don't know sports, but makes a comeback with a pet topic. Food begins
Isolate
with the
that
letter
audio.
Q.
I'm gonna isolate that audio.
How do you isolate audio?
You put it in the freezer.
Oh, okay. Wait, which part? Because she's a woman.
Yeah, she doesn't know sports because she's a woman. Quote Zach Wiseman, 2000.
And Michael Colby.
Now apparently quote.
Oh Jesus!
Sorry, hey, Dylan will get you. Watch what you say. Now she wins 14,100 on her first episode on Jeopardy because of words that start with the letter Q, especially foods. Now, Billy sings Gloria a song he's composed to her, and he wins her back. And as Gloria and Billy discuss their new future, Sydney is desperate for Billy's help, and his apartment was burglarized, and his winnings were stolen. Now, he and Rhonda are desperate for money so they can move to a better neighborhood, and Gloria is expecting Billy to get a steady job and settle down. But Sydney informs him that two hoop legends of the LA streetball scene, the King and the Duck, are playing the courts downtown. And Sydney asks Billy to partner him in playing against them. And Billy enthusiastically agrees, which is ridiculous because now he's in deep water with his lady friend and offering to gamble his share of Gloria's takes. So he's going to gamble the money that Gloria just won by saying Q words to Alex Trebek. Now, they play a final game against King and Duck, and it's a very, very tight game. And Sydney and Billy prevail, and the winning point comes when Sydney lobs an alley-oop to Billy, who, guess what?
Dunks.
He jumps.
He jumps and he dunks.
He jumps
and
he dunks.
You're telling me that this Q food thing is an actual thing because I'm starting to think that you didn't watch the movie.
Oh no, this
sounds
100%.
This sounds like something that I would make up after falling asleep on shrooms.
Alex Trebek walks on stage and he reads all the Jeopardy categories, and the last one he reads is exactly the weird, esoteric, super specific category that Woody Harrelson's girlfriend has been talking about the entirety of the movie.
So it's a Deus Ex quiche,
Keats, Quince,
a Deus Ex quinoa.
Yep, well, not the quinoa part, but yeah,
God from the quinoa.
After Woody Harrelson dunks it, he's returning home happy for him. You know, he just doubled Gloria's money that she gave him. And Billy's crushed to find that Gloria's kept her word and she left him for good because he's not allowed to gamble anymore because GD, he can't jump. Now, the monsters who are after Billy, they track him down and he pays off his debts by jumping. And Billy then asks Sydney to get up with a real job. And Sydney remarks that Billy and Gloria may be better off without each other because she can jump and he can't jump. And the film ends as Billy and Sydney, they jump into another basketball argument and they return to the court where they first met and played a one-on-one game, but this time as friends and lovers who both jump. That's it.
She jumps too, is what you're saying?
Well, she jumps into a new relationship with somebody else because she
jumps
tells
out
him,
of the movie.
She's like, hey, if you keep jumping, I'm going to leave you for good. I bet that.
For somebody better looking than a 1989 Woody Harrelson?
No, just for somebody that won't bet that. And all that money, you know.
So she doesn't leave him. She doesn't leave him for Wesley Snipes.
No, she doesn't leave him for Wesley Snipes.
Not that we see.
That's too bad because if I was dating Woody Harrelson and I had a shot with Wesley Snipes, I'm moving up. You can bet that I'm going to move up.
Yeah.
To Woody Harrelson or to Wesley Snipes from Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, and then somebody be like, "Oops, you caught me smoking." Woody Harrelson. Or Wesley Snipes. One of the two.
Yeah, I would definitely be smoking Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, probably not Woody, not now. Not after Zombieland 2.
Did that come out? Is that real?
No, it's real.
What,
but,
White Men Can't Jump?
2.
White Men Can't Jump 2. I did see that they're remaking this.
I think it's called White Men Also Can't Jump.
White Men 2 Can't Jump.
White Men 2 Can't Jump also.
2 White Men Can't Jump?
Two
White,
white
men can't
men
jump 2 times.
two white men can't jump to TOO also. 2 white men can't jump 2.
Right. The future.
Yeah. Okay.
This
And
is
who plays the
brilliant-
white men in
brilliant content.
Well, it's still Woody Harrelson. He's an old badger who's sitting over on the sidelines.
who's the second white man?
Oh, it's
Kirk
also
Douglas.
Woody Harrelson, but de-aged to look like
Kurt,
him from this movie.
No, sorry. Dylan won that one.
No.
Kurt Douglas.
No, Kurt Russell, obviously.
Kurt Russell.
Why would you get Kurt Douglas in this thing?
Because who
That guy's
wouldn't
got
want to watch?
nominees.
Who wouldn't want to
Gravitas.
watch an 800-year-old Kurt Douglas
Well, they de-aged
play
him.
basketball with a 200-year-old Woody Harrelson?
They up-age him 200 years.
They
And
aged
then
him
they-
200 years.
Yeah, and then he's in a relationship with oh fuck.
Come on.
It's like that Christopher Nolan movie Interstellar.
What's that redhead's name who was in all those Kurt Douglas movies?
Woody
the
Harrelson.
Chucky.
romantic comedies. No, not Woody Harrelson from Venom 2 Carnage.
Carnage 2, Let There Be Venom.
Carnage 2, Let There Be a Redheaded Woody Harrelson who freaks me out, man.
All right, okay, how are we thinking about this movie? Is there any reason to talk about this any further?
I had a good time watching it. I don't know. I watched it while I was doing other things, and every once in a while I'd look back and be like, "Yeah, it's fun. Whatever."
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
this
like.
movie,
It's a sports movie. It doesn't resonate
well,
with me.
It's not really a sports movie. I mean, there is sports in it, but I wouldn't really say this is like a sports movie. I'll say this is a relationship movie that has some delvings on the court.
It tells you that women aren't worth it, and you should go play basketball with your friends.
That's true. Yeah, I really can't fight that one.
As the lone single man on this panel, that's what I'm going to take from this movie.
That women don't know sports and white men can't jump.
Disregard women, acquire air.
Except for Dylan, who obviously is a fantastic basketball player and can definitely jump.
Yes. I have a
As can
14-foot
Woody
vertical.
Harrelson, apparently. Even though, does his girl come back to him because
No, she's
No,
gone
she's
from
just
the movie
gone.
after she leaves.
No,
she
she's
she
gone.
rollerblades off into the distance with her headphones on.
Yeah.
as you do in the 1990s movies, you definitely always put your headphones on with your Walkman and put in an Ace of Base tape, and then you rollerblade off into the distance.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept like spending all their money. She saw the signs and opened up her eyes. Yeah.
Now, Michael, because you are on another bad podcast about video games, did you know that there was a bad video game based on this movie?
No. What was that on?
It was on video games.
Okay.
It was also called White Men Can't Jump.
Okay.
Drake of the 99 Dragons. Get it right.
Wow. That is a deep cut, Dylan.
Yeah, that's fine.
I played that. I may have a copy of that on the PlayStation 2.
Nice.
Yeah. White Men Can't Jump. Not a very good video game because obviously, if you play one of the two characters, you can't jump. So
Is it a
It's a
it sounds like
platformer,
it would
which
be
is
on
weird.
Super Nintendo.
I'm not sure.
It's on the Atari Jaguar.
I had an Atari Jaguar.
No, that's
Actually,
real.
No, Jaguar was Sega.
No, it was Atari. As a matter of fact, if you listen to the latest episode of I Love This Terrible Game, you will hear a story about how I had an Atari Jaguar and was playing it one day, and the cartridge slot just started smoking. That was the absolute worst
Yeah.
console I've ever
Hell
played.
yeah.
So oops, you caught your console
Oops.
smoking.
Smoke.
I caught my Atari Jaguar smoking when I was trying to play Raiden.
Yeah, so the video game, which has way worse reviews than this thing, it was developed by High Voltage Software, and actually Dylan was right. It is exclusively
It is
for
exclusively
the Atari
on the Atari.
Jaguar.
I told you
I'm
I
gonna
watched
have
this
to-
movie. They talk about it in the movie. There's an advertisement at the beginning.
Wow.
For Atari Jaguar,
Yeah.
or for the game that they are
Both of
about to
them.
play.
It's like, hey, it's yeah, it's Wesley
I hate
Snipes and Woody
I hate you
Harrelson
guys.
sitting down, and they're like, hey, we know you're here to watch a movie, but first we wanted to let you know we worked really hard on this. And they play a few games, and the cartridge slot starts smoking, and they're like, all right, I think
It does that with every Jaguar. Every Jaguar just starts spontaneously smoking.
You guys are real sons of bitches. I'm really trying to talk about one of my best friend's favorite movies. This is Dan Levy of Oops Caught Me Smoking. It's his #1 favorite film. And I think that you guys should really take a second and just search your soul and just say, does Dan deserve this? Does Dan Levy, the co-creator of The Real Boys, co-creator of Bet That, co-creator of this week's sponsor, OMG Movie Podcast, where you can hear a bunch of people talk about the Eternals, if you want to hear that. Now, let's go into reels because
now that it's 3 weeks past everybody absolutely hating the Eternals, and nobody could possibly care about anyone talking about the Eternals. Not that anybody gives a fucking shit about us talking about either Rubber or fucking White Men Can't Jump. The movie's 900 years old, and nobody could possibly care about it. I can't get past how stupid Wesley Snipes looks in this movie.
He looks better in this movie than he does in Demolition Man. I'll say that. Because in Demolition Man, as Simon, he is kind of crazy looking.
Well, I mean, that's just because it's the future. And in the 90s, everybody thought that in the future, everybody was just going to wear 9 layers of different armor and, you know, whatever. And, you know, you put half of a football pad on your jacket and whatever else. So, and then you dye your hair blonde.
They based the look off the Castlevania characters, so I don't know what you expected.
I can't even swerve this anymore.
I watched the movie. I don't know what else to say about it.
I don't believe you watched this movie, and I know for a fact that Michael didn't even take mushrooms, much less watch this movie, because he's boring. Anyway, reels. Michael, how many reels out of 10 will you give this movie that you not only not care about, but will never watch?
Well, I did, in fact, watch the first 10 minutes of it and then went, I don't need to watch this. And I did come up with the rest of the movie where Juliette Lewis comes and takes Woody Harrelson away. He shaves his head. They go on a murder spree.
You didn't make that up. That's Natural Born Killers.
But then Chris Christopherson comes for Wesley Snipes, puts him, in the thing. Make that up either. And then then they have to fight. And then these 2 guys in trench coats come and
I told you to bring up Columbine again.
Well, we can't talk about Boondock Saints without talking about Columbine. So, but yeah, those guys came in and they were hunting Woody Harrelson.
Speaking of Boondock Saints, you can go check out all of Phil Better's podcasts, including one of my personal favorites, the Poutine Routine, where he gets up with different Canadian chefs and tries to figure out what their method. Do you put the curds on top or the curds underneath? I give this movie 8 reels out of 10.
I'm giving them
Farts Big Duty Buddy. I give his review 11 reels out of 10.
Oh,
it was much better than my normal review when I, watched the movies and then hate the movies so much that nobody wants to talk to me about their stupid movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give the movie that I made up in my head a 9 out of 10. It had some plot holes, and it wasn't very original. But there was a lot of good action sequences, and both of the Boondock Saints did get put into a car and driven off a cliff. So
now I know of the Boondock Saints. One is Val
so
Kilmer.
Many ethnic slurs.
Who is the other Boondock Saint?
It was Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Oh, okay, good.
The 2 best Batmen.
Yeah. 2 best Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once again, Farts McDuty Buddy proving that white men can jump to conclusions with a solid 9 out of 10 reels for a movie that he made up, which is a culmination of 2 really good movies, 1 very bad movie, and 1 movie that does not exist yet. Now,
Not
Dylan
yet.
Terry, who is white, can't jump. How many reels are you going to give this thing?
I'm giving this a 6. I like the I like the relationship between Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, and I like that Woody Harrelson's like lady leaves him at the end for his bad decisions and does not come back. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Some actual consequences. 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's fine. I don't suspect I'll ever watch this again.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty solid movie, written, directed by the same guy who did Bull Durham, which is, I'm not huge sports movies, but there are some movies that are just really good depending on the fact that there are sports. Like I like The Natural. It's a baseball movie, whatever. I think it's a cool movie. I don't like Field of Dreams. I think it's boring. I don't watch movies about corn.
Field of Dreams is boring as fuck.
It really is boring. I don't care whether you have shoes on or not, Joe Jackson. Stop hitting your kid.
The Angels come down and tell him to build a stadium because the world's going to flood.
That's the one where Joey from Friends teaches a chimpanzee how to pitch.
You're thinking of the one with Christopher Lloyd where the Angels come down and they like lift people up to catch home runs.
No, you're thinking of the one where Nicolas Cage drank so much, became a city of angels, and really just haunted Meg Ryan's dreams.
Oh, it does have a soundtrack by the Goo Goo Dolls, which I can appreciate.
It was weird to see Christopher Lloyd doing his like very over the top Christopher Lloyd thing in such a solemn movie.
I agree.
But
especially when he's trying to dip Rosie Perez into a dip, and she keeps saying, "This is queso, which is what are all that Jeopardy money?
I thought you were going to say the part where Christopher Lloyd gets hit by a bus because he's riding a bike with his eyes shut.
No, you're talking about that Will Smith movie where Jason Lee gets hit by the bus when he's riding his bike.
No,
American Pie.
No, that's where Jason Biggs gets hit by a pie. Jason, very little pie for a Jason Biggs. Anyway, so,
this is a fun improv exercise. I think I'm adding this one to my
It's definitely not bad. But yeah, so that was our very lackluster interpretation of review of a movie that 1.5 of us actually watched. The other 1.5 of us don't really care about. But I think that it got a total of 12 reels out of 30.
It is
with a remainder of 2.
Yeah,
it is totally average across the bow, normal amount of
pretty average. Honestly, if Rosie Perez wasn't in it, it would have got way less. And I think if Farts McDuty Buddy had watched it, it might have got 1 more reel. But who knows?
I think it may have gotten a couple less if I would have actually watched it.
No, I think you would have liked it. It's actually kind of funny. It's a pretty cute little movie. It is a little long. The whole part with like the mobsters being ran, I think that just really
completely irrelevant.
Irrelevant, but I do like Dylan said. I like the fact that Rosie Perez stuck to her guns and she left Woody Harrelson because he just kept, even though he won, he just kept betting and gambling their future. Wesley Snipes is really struggling to keep his relationship together because he's an aging basketball player that really doesn't want a job. It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Okay,
that's pretty.
Maybe I'll illegally stream it sometime.
Well, you can watch it on Hulu Plus if you have a premium subscription to Stars for some reason. Because this movie requires you to pay a lot.
Actually, I saw it on Stars when I was using the free my free trial to watch Twin Peaks: The Return.
Oh yeah.
And I saw it on there, and then it ran out, and I was like, I don't care.
So if you want to hear the rest of our reviews on other things, you can not go to our YouTube channel and see that because it no longer exists.
Yes.
You can. There is a new one that just started called The Real Boys, but I don't know why I did that. That's stupid. Because check out the future when we're moving from real to real and moving from real boys to real men.
Real boys to real men. Yeah.
Real boys, real to real. We're going from real boys to real people, to real persons watching real movies on reels.
If you enjoyed, for some reason, anything that we said today, where we make up, Zach watched the movie, but me and Dylan didn't watch the movie. So we were just completely making things up whole cloth about what this movie was about.
You don't know me.
we definitely are going to have something very similar in the future. We'll announce that when we're ready to. But for right now,
real to real.
If you really want to listen to real people talk about real movies that they really watched, why would you want to do that? But you can visit our sponsors for today's podcast, which is OMG Movie Cast, Movie Pod, OMG Pod Movie Cast. Or you can go and you can watch the Phil Better shows that I really enjoyed this week. He does have a paranormal podcast that he's called Ghosting the Boys. And his other one where he goes around to the different rivers and in Canada, and he makes it so that nobody can get to his side of the river. And that one's called Burning the Bridges. So go check out those two Phil Better podcasts.
Yeah. Now,
Michael, I thought you were going to steal my thunder. We were listening to the same show, The Smartest Guys in the Shroom. It's where Phil does a lot of mushrooms and then plays the stock market.
Yeah, they're not magic mushrooms though, but he is allergic.
No, it's like
to
criminy
them, so
and like button. Yeah,
yeah. There's a couple hen of the woods, and they get pretty scary because, like I said, he'll get hives like on his neck. But yeah, other than the poutine routine, what I can definitely suggest is Molson Muscle, and it's where Phil will hang outside of whatever Canadian Walmarts are with Molson lights. He'll chug one and throw the can at somebody and try to fight them with his Molson Muscle. Phil Better, he is really just a podcast mogul. And you can check him out on shows such as OMG Movie Podcast, Bet That with Jerry and Smith, where they probably talk about curling and badminton and the highlights of what's that one where like you have that cool looking mallet, but you hit it real soft through that metal arch?
Badminton.
No,
the one where you're riding the horses.
No, but you still have those hats on. But like you gotta hit the thing real soft unless you hit your friend's balls, and then you put your foot on it and you hit it real hard.
It's got some French name that translates to horse hat mullet.
Oh, right.
Which is weird because you don't have a mullet. You use like a mallet.
Yeah, it's called Crockett. It's called Crockett because you wear one of those beaver hats.
Yeah.
And the tail, acts as your mullet.
Yeah. So check out Be a Better Crockett over at Phil Better's Betterosphere, where you can see all of his pod his Beta Meta.
Betaverse.
Yeah, I got that. Betaverse, yeah. Facebook. Anyway, so whatever.
Thanks for tuning into The Real Boys. We only have a few episodes left because we're going to stop doing this after we're done with the number ones, but we'll be doing other projects.
No, wait. I'm blindsided now. I thought that since was this very serious movie podcast, I thought, we had plans for the next 3 seasons.
Michael,
with all of these. It was supposed to be 8 guys on every week for 2 years. They said that they were going to be ready to do this forever.
Michael, you've been so quiet tonight, I forgot you were on the show. I'm sorry. You weren't supposed to hear that.
Listen, I want you to listen to Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex, now on the Podmoth Network. It's a wonderful show where we do all sorts of weird stuff, and it's creative and fun, unlike a bunch of people talking about movies, which is probably the most boring thing you can listen to. Otherwise, you can hear me on I Love This Terrible Game, where we make up stuff about video games on that, and on Generation Clash, where me and my only child try to get each other to like music from our different generations. And those are real plugs, unlike all of the bullshit we've just been talking about for 40 minutes.
Yeah, like Phil Better's Right Wing podcast saying no PC in the BC. You can check that out, where he talks about as red and as right as you can get, because it's about money. Grind.
Red is the leaf on that flag.
Yeah, it's where they try to get Donald Trump to be the president of Canada. it's really, and I don't know if he's like, I don't know Canada's laws. Do they let immigrants become, because then Donald Trump would be an immigrant, and I don't think he would like that, but at least he would have power. But Phil's like a big donator to Donald Trump's campaigns.
Yeah, that's true. But if you want to hear more of what me and Dylan do, you can hear on Phil Better's show, Looney and the Toonies, where he talks about early cartoons, but like the ones that you're not supposed to watch anymore.
All the stuff from Newgrounds.
Yeah, the stuff that gets taken off of Disney Plus. He really breaks it down, and he's like, this should stay, because like Canada has got a choice.
Like truck balls for your podcast feed.
Yeah, he's like, I really like these over-the-top cartoonish stereotypes of black people. He's like, I can't get enough of those crows. He loves them.
He's like, man, Jimmy's my man. Look, I mean, Phil Better, he's really crushing it, guys. So if you want to really see a real podcast mogul, you want to go check out Rink Rat, where Phil will start a podcast a week with a bunch of different people and then really just dip on them when they get to his stuff. Go check out Rink Rat and Phil Better with his Molson Muscle and his poutine routine. Either way, guys, we've kind of been the real boys. Look, some nobodies. Jack Billings presents. Also, this week's sponsor, OMG Movie Podcast. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. Till next time. And what are we watching next week, Dylan?
We're watching my number one movie, Inside Llewyn Davis from the Coen Brothers. It's a fantastic film.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch that. I
am speaking sincerely. It means quite a bit to me.
Okay, and sincerely, I'm going to watch this movie. I'm very excited about it.
No, if you find Oscar Isaac's sexy at all, please watch this movie. I'm
probably going to be playing guitar the entire episode next week.
Is Oscar Isaacs? Does he get nude in this at all?
In my brain, he does. I can't wait until the rewatch.
Yeah.
In my brain, he's always nude. But...
You can imagine nude whenever you want. The cops can't stop you.
That's not what they tell me.
News
but
to
you can listen to that on Phil Better's show, Nude and Prude, where he asked cops, "Can you think of yourself naked?" And they say, "Yeah," but
the cops,
they're not allowed. They're
did
born in
stop me from doing my erotic Oscar Isaacs fan art. But I guess if it was in my brain, it would be different.
Canadian laws are kooky. That's it. They are a little bit loony and a little bit toony, like all Phil Better shows. But look, let's just stop this, because if we were going to talk about Phil Better shows, we would need a second episode a week, and the rest of the Real Boys won't show up for that one either. So why do that? Either way,
there are Arrest of Real Boys.
Arrested Real Boys. There's a couple.
There are a rest of them.
Yeah, there's Arrested Developments of a lot of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there is still 2 more, but they are never on. So
yeah, well, there was 12. We cut 2. 2 never showed up. 1 quit. 1 quit. 1 quit. 1 started our podcast with all the ones that quit, and another one quit. That's true. Yeah, you got to watch out for Lake Wobegon. Okanagan. All right. Bye, guys.
Is that it?
What more do you want? Do we have more? Wait, is there more? Is there more improv? Michael, let's do another improv game.
Okay, let's do another improv exercise.
Yeah. We're not beholden to anybody. We have no gods and no masters. Let's do whatever.
Especially the Real Boys.
I need a prompt. Tina, can you give us a prompt?
We'll take any prompt.
Any prompt for an improv exercise.
Except the C prompt, because nobody knows how to do that stuff anymore. That's old computer
prompt.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. I got that, and I was like, he can't possibly be talking.
Oh, there you go. There's a prompt. How about an emoji from Michael Colby?
Okay.
Devil smiley.
Hi, I'm the devil. Do you want me to start a new movie podcast? Let's talk about my favorite movie, Legend, because they do a great job of showing me in all of my glory on this.
I'll let you pick my teammate. How's that?
I don't believe this, man.
$500, baby. And you can pick anybody out here. Anybody. Anybody.
I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
But Raymond, man, look at the chump, man. Give him the chump.